What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's been an effing minute, hasn't it? I guess what we will start off here is what's been up. Um, so, obviously, there's been no podcasts. There's been nothing really on my channel for a while now, since probably around like April, I think was the last time we did a video. Um, I kind of just got burnt out on the whole scene. Is just the truth, the honest truth. Right before Endgame was about to come out, it was just a bombardment of everybody. Just every time I'd get on the internet or anything, I fired up on my phone, on the computer. It was just people screaming at each other. Don't spoil this. Don't spoil that. Endgame this. Endgame that. Comic books this. Movies that. I just got burnt out. I didn't want to hear about it anymore. I was getting sick of people, like, I decided I wasn't going to go see Endgame in the theater because I had other stuff going on in my life that's more important. And I actually had people, like, getting, like, legit confused and almost angry with me that I wasn't going to see it in theaters. And that just kind of fueled well, I'm not going to then. I really don't want to anymore. You kind of ruined it for me. I still like the movies. I still like comic books. I still like all the stuff that I've always liked. I kind of liked it a little bit more when it was a personal thing to me, rather than now that it's just this massive, massive thing with everyone and their sister on the internet just throwing negative. Not always. It's actually not a bad community. There's more positivity than there is negativity, but it's a lot all the time. It never stops. So I just decided to take a break and do some other stuff. I'm still recording down here in the studio. I'm right in the middle of recording an album for First Hit. Actually, we're not in the middle anymore. We're coming to an end. Today should be the last recording session for those guys, and then I can start mixing and finishing that up for them. I think they're pushing to get their album out in like September. So if you want, go to Bandcamp and search First Hit, or follow them on Facebook, or any other stuff you can find them on. I have some of their EP from last year that I recorded for them on YouTube. You can check that out. Great band, great bunch of guys. I also started an outline early spring of an idea that I had for a book. I've always loved writing. I write lyrics, for my old bands, and just in general, I just like writing. I've tried in the past to write a book or two. I've written an audio thing. If you go on my Bandcamp, you can see Echo and the Bunnyman. I wrote a script for that. That was fun. But I've never actually, like, full force finished, wrote a book. I want to write a book. It's definitely fiction, obviously, but it's kind of a sci-fi, kind of, not really science. I mean, I guess it has the science in it. The working title for it is going to be The History of You, is what I have on my outline right now. I had so many ideas just coming out. I was just writing and writing and writing until I had a nice, solid foundation and outline for this book, and then I started writing. The first chapter is done. I started on the third chapter. It's a weird, it's going to be almost like an anthology series, almost. Each chapter is going to be a self-contained story about a different individual, but in the same world, in the same scope of things, the same subject matter. So yeah, I have started writing that. I'm trying to finish this album for First Hit. I'm trying to focus all my attention on that before I get back into writing. I took a little break on that too this past month. But I figure mainly when winter comes is when I really focus on doing like this kind of stuff, like computer stuff where I'm down here. It's so nice out. I just want to be outside. I don't want to be cooped up in here. So that's what I've been doing lately. But I'm really excited about this book idea. I set my goal to have it pretty solidly finished by next spring, and then I can start revising it, letting people read it, tell me what's wrong with it, fixing it, do grammar check, all that stuff, because God knows, everybody that knows me, I type fast, I don't think about stuff, I just type, and things get spelled wrong, grammar's completely incorrect, so that's going to be probably a huge chunk of it at towards the end, but I'm really excited about it. I don't want to give any of the plot away, because I just want it to be fresh when it comes out for everybody. I'm probably going to try, once it's done, to try to just get it straight out on a digital on Amazon, so you'll be able to download it on any Kindle app or anything like that. You can get Kindle on your phone, all that stuff. It's a really easy way to get I can get a copyright on it and then just put it straight out on the internet for a digital download and not worry about any physical copies. Maybe if it down the line, if it does well and people like it enough, I will try to get some physical copies made for it. That would be cool to have a physical copy of a freaking book that I wrote. But yeah. So anyway, today's video is not about all of that stuff. It is actually something that I just said I was tired of. But like I said, I took a break from it. I still haven't seen Endgame. Sorry. I did pre-order the digital copy of it right when I could. It comes out next Tuesday, so I'll finally see it, and I'll be in the know with everybody else finally. I haven't seen Far From Home. I'm not a huge fan of Tom's Spider-Man. But I love Mysterio. He's one of my favorite Spider-Man villains, so I am excited. I love Jake Gyllenhaal. He's one of my favorite actors. So I am excited to see the movie when I get the chance. I'm just not gonna take the time out of my day to go to a movie theater and sit in a dark room when I have other stuff to be doing. But yesterday was Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, one of the biggest Comic-Cons of the year, and we all knew that Marvel has been pretty quiet after Endgame and hasn't really spoke about Phase 4 till last night. Hall H got just the whole timeline of Phase 4 dropped on their heads, and I was following along on Instagram as Marvel was posting, and I gotta say I'm pretty excited. There's some odd stuff here. There is some things that I didn't expect them to do, and there's some stuff that I figured they would do, and some stuff that I thought they would do that they didn't announce. So we'll just dive right in here, and I'll give you my opinion on all the stuff that they say they're going to be dropping on us in the next 2 years. First off, they announced is the Eternals, which we kind of all knew that was coming. I didn't know if it was going to be a series or if it was going to be a movie. It is going to be a movie, though. It's going to be starring Angelina Jolie, Richard Madden, Kamal Nanjiani. If I butcher any of these names, I apologize. Lauren Ridloff, Brian Tyree Henry, Salma Hayek, Leah McHugh, and Dawn Lee, and directed by Chloe Zhao. It'll be in theaters November 6th. So that's pretty cool. The Eternals, I believe, are a race. The Celestials, which are like the gods of the Marvel universe, came to Earth a long time ago, and they kind of experimented on humans and started mutants, basically. And the Eternals were meant to be the saviors or protectors of Earth. So it'll be, I'm assuming if it's the first movie, it's going to kind of start us out way before anything that is established in the MCU, which is kind of cool. Get us out of that timeline that we just, that Endgame just blew apart. So that'll be cool. Excited for that. Angelina Jolie. I thought and was kind of excited to see Millie Bobby Brown show up in the Eternals. That's a rumor that I had heard a while ago, and she's just been kicking ass in Stranger Things. Stranger Things season 3 was amazing. It was better than season 2 and probably on par with season 1. She kicked ass in Godzilla. I was hoping to see her show up in the cast for Eternals. She's not. That's fine. It's their choice. Cool to see Angelina Jolie showing up in there. I think most people thought she was going to end up in that. The second title that they announced was The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We already knew this was coming out. I think me and Anthony had talked about this on our podcast months back, that when they announced the Disney streaming service, Disney Plus, which should be coming out in December, that there was going to be a few series on there. It's not a movie, it's a series, and it's going to be The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think I said this before, that's a weird pair to me. They weren't like real buddy in the movies or anything. They didn't maybe had like one or two lines shared, if that. I guess in the Winter Soldier movie, they did fight, so there's that. The cool thing about this logo here is the shield, the Captain America shield in the middle. And I know, unfortunately, with the internet being what it is, and me saying that I haven't seen Endgame yet, I do know mostly what has happened in Endgame. I do know that the Falcon took up the mantle of Captain America. So I'm interested to see if he is Captain America in this series, rather than the Falcon. And if so, why is it called The Falcon and the Winter Soldier? I don't know. And is Bucky the Winter Soldier anymore? He's not brainwashed anymore. I feel like we've gotten past that and we've forgiven him for murdering everyone, including Tony Stark's parents. It's a little odd. I'm sure it'll be badass because I like both those characters. I'm blanking on the Falcon's name. I just said it like 20 minutes ago to my wife. I just watched a couple movies with him in it. The I.O. on Netflix. Really good. He's getting some roles. He was also in a Black Mirror episode, which was a really weird, hard to watch episode, but it was good. I'm glad he's getting more attention. He's a good actor. Third announcement was Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This is badass. Oh, holy monkey. Like, we're gonna get a sick-ass kung fu movie. It is a movie. It's not a series. It's coming out February 12th, 2021. So that's probably one of the farther away ones that we're going to get. It is starring Simu Liu, or Lai Awakawafina. Man, these are hard names. Tony Leung, directed by Destin Daniel Cretton. And like I said, it's in theaters February 12th, 2021. So The Legend of the Ten Rings, the title of it, is interesting because in the comic books, the Ten Rings were worn by the Mandarin, and we all know that the Mandarin was one of the most badass villains in the Marvel comics, in obviously Shang-Chi and in Iron Man. And when we heard that the Mandarin was going to be the villain in Iron Man 3, we all got excited. I mean, I was excited. And then they kind of dropped that bomb on us that he was just an actor. But if you look closely in that movie, he is wearing 10 rings. And I believe he mentions the Legend of the 10 Rings group in that movie in one of his videos, that like his fake videos that he's making. So I'm really curious if the Mandarin, the real Mandarin, if that actor in that movie who was faking the Mandarin is actually the Mandarin, and he shows up in this movie, or if there is a different Mandarin who's going to show up in this movie. The Ten Rings also unleash a dragon, I believe. So it's just going to be an all-around cool, out-of-the-box, different direction for Marvel to go with a MCU movie. I'm really excited about that. I know Anthony was uber excited when we heard about this happening a long time ago. But I hope the Mandarin does show up as the villain. I hope they do him justice. He is a badass villain. So there is that. Next up, we had another one that we kind of already knew was coming. It is a series on the Disney Plus, WandaVision. If you didn't get enough love from Wanda and Vision in Infinity War, maybe you'll get enough in this. I believe this is based on a comic book series called WandaVision, where Wanda and the Vision get married and settle down and kind of have a suburbanite, family life, but they obviously have superpowers. I'm curious, and it'll be another unique offshoot of the norm in the MCU. It's really cool that we're getting these with the Disney Plus service, that we're getting these big actors who are used to being in these gigantic budget movies like Endgame and Infinity War, and they're actually okay with being pulled into these series. And I'm not saying that's going to change the budget any. It is Disney. I'm sure they're gonna. You can take the budget of a 3-hour movie and spread it out over an 11-episode series or something like that, and make them fantastic. WandaVision, I don't know. I don't know about that one. I like Olsen's Wanda Maximoff. She's cool. I like Vision. He's alright. He doesn't really do much in the MCU. But I did like in Infinity War, I did like the part where they were, trying to hide out together and live their life. It was a heavy part of the movie. It was emotional. They did it. They played it off well. It'll be cool and interesting to see how they do it in an entire series to themselves. Oh, so let me see if there's any information here on that. So yeah, we got the Elizabeth Olsen returning as Wanda, and Paul Bettany returning as the Vision, and Teyonah Parris will also be starring. It'll be streaming on the Disney Plus service in spring of 2021. So that's also a good ways away. They don't want to blow their load all in one on their service. Up next, we got the Loki series, which we all knew was coming. It is coming spring of 2021 on the Disney Plus service. It will be Tom Hiddleston reprising his role as Loki. This is another one where I am so curious to where they're going to go with this. He is a liked villain in the MCU, and he is a villain who teeters on that edge of, is he a villain? Is he conflicted? He did sacrifice himself for his brother. He helped him out in Thor Ragnarok. He's always back and forth. He is conniving. Tom Hiddleston plays the role very well. So I'm glad to see him being able to reprise his role, even though he died in Infinity War. But I'm just very curious as to what stories they're going to use to keep it fresh and keep people interested. Are we going to have cameos from Thor in there? Are we going to have cameos from any of the other MCU characters? It's just all I'm very interested in to see where that goes. Especially in a character that I was never very interested in. They've done that with a lot of these characters. They've taken characters that I was never a huge fan of in the comic books and made them interesting and entertaining. So good on them. Let's move along. We go from Loki. We go. Ooh, I am excited for this one. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. This title is so badass. Like, I knew we were getting a Doctor Strange 2. Everybody knew we were getting a Doctor Strange 2. But no one knew what the title was. We get this title. Man, like, this movie is going to just be mind-blowing. It's just going to be mind-bending, which is so cool to dive into all the weird and wacky madness that is the Doctor Strange comic book series. Also, an interesting thing is obviously Benedict Cumberbatch will be reprising his role as Doctor Strange, but it also says it will be starring Elizabeth Olsen. So Wanda will be in this movie as well, which is really cool because, like I said, it was a little weird to me that they were pushing off these bigger actors into series, and that they were okay with it. But obviously, some of them will also be in bigger blockbuster movies. It will also be starring Scott Dickerson. Oh no, Scott Dickerson will return as the director. Sorry about that. So yeah, that's really cool, and there's so many places they could go with that. There's so many weird Doctor Strange story arcs in the multiverse that could crack the MCU wide open to anything. Obviously, everybody's got in the back of their head where the X-Men going to come in, where's the Fantastic Four coming in. There's so many different ways that it could happen. Obviously, the multiverse is going to be that indirect way of bringing all these new, old families back into their proper place, the MCU. So yeah, excited about that. I think the date was May 7th of 2021. Moving on here. Ooh, yeah. The What If series. We heard about this. Well, I heard about this a few months back. The What If series is one of my favorite long-running comic book series. I have a ton of them. They're just fun. They are pure fun. When an artist or a series feels like it's stuck and it can't diverge from the main storyline because it would destroy something that another past artist has established, especially with the MCU. You can't just retcon some other director's whole entire story because you feel like it. I mean, you could if you get permission, but a lot of fans might not be happy about that. With the What If series, you can do anything. Every single episode can be unique and off the wall and something that has never been tried before. That's how the comic book series always was. It is going to be animated, which is really cool too. It opens up even bigger to being able to do weird and wacky and whatever they want to do. I am insanely excited for What If. They also can bring other characters and stories into the. It says it's going to be connected to the MCU, so they can bring them in anyway. You can get the Fantastic Four, you can get the X-Men. It'll be Jeffrey Wright as the voice of the Watcher, so we will get the Watcher. It's a little disappointing that we didn't get this before Stan Lee passed away. It would have been really cool for him to be the informant, like they kind of hinted at in past Marvel movies. I mean, they could probably still use. I mean, if it's animated, they could probably use his voice. If not, find a person who impersonates his voice very well. That would be really cool and a really nice way of, showing appreciation towards him. That'll be the Disney Plus streaming service summer of 2021. A lot of actors who are the characters in the MCU live action movies will be reprising their roles as the voice acting for the characters, which is really awesome also. So we got up next, but not least, Hawkeye gets his own series on the Disney streaming service. Good for Jeremy Renner. He's been so underused. I haven't seen Endgame yet, so I really am excited to see what role he played in that movie. It'll also be the first introduction of Kate Bishop, his daughter, who will one day take up the mantle as Hawkeye. Like, that's just awesome. That could be probably one of the best series that they're gonna do on the Marvel, the Disney Plus streaming service. All the other ones, I'm a little like, why would they do a Loki? Why would they do WandaVision? Why would they do a Falcon, Winter Soldier? A little weird. This one makes sense to me. He's a role that's hard to incorporate into a bigger superhero storyline, even though they did do it well in the past movies. you could tell that they didn't know what to do sometimes, so they just kind of pushed him out for a while there. This can focus on him, his family, his role in SHIELD, and all those other awesome missions that he had. I'm really excited for that. That'll be fall of 2021. Oh, probably the most excited. There's two that I was most excited for. This one is definitely one of the top. Thor, Thunder, Love and Thunder. Damn, I love that logo. You see that thing? So He-Man, so like 80s animated, like just awesome. Awesome. Love the title. Interesting stuff. Taika Waititi will be returning as the director. Thank God. Like, man, I was really, really, really hoping that we would get one more Thor movie with Taika and with Chris Hemsworth coming back, because Ragnarok is probably my favorite MCU movie of all time. It was just spot on what Thor needed, and I'm glad he's coming back. Tessa Thompson will also be reprising her role, which is awesome. Great actress, loved her in Ragnarok. And Natalie Portman will be returning, which she hasn't been in a Thor movie for a minute. I did hear that at the announcement in Hall H, she was holding Mjolnir, and they're saying that she will be the new Thor, which would make sense with the title, Love and Thunder. Maybe this is Chris Hemsworth passing on the title of Thor, God of Thunder, to his love interest, Natalie Portman's character. I can't remember her name, Jane Foster in the stories. I'm so on board for this, and if there's anybody who's going to take care of this story and make it work and make us care about it, it's Taika Waititi. He really enjoys. You could just tell he enjoyed every second of what he did with Ragnarok. I'm so pumped to see how he handles this and how he makes us love Natalie Portman as the new Thor. It's about time. Almost all the Thor stories nowadays have I can't remember her name, but have the woman, the female Thor, and she's fantastic. So it'll be really cool to see how Taika Waititi handles that. That'll be coming out in theaters November 5th of 2021. So pumped about that. I just can't get over that logo. It's so good. Black Widow finally got announced. Let me throw that logo up there. Nope, same stinking logo that I just did. There we go. Black Widow finally gets her own movie. Like, I don't know, everybody, talks about Hawkeye and how he's so underutilized and he should have his, he needs to have his day, and now he gets his own series, and that's fantastic. But man, Scarlett Johansson has been there since Iron Man 2, playing Romanoff and just knocking it out of the park. Every movie, I love to see how her character has grown, where she is, how she looks, how she acts, how she's interacting with these other characters, how she's trying to get rid of, past what she's done in her past. I love her as Black Widow, and she has always deserved a solo movie, and I'm so pumped that we're getting it. I'm so pumped. Even better than when they announced the cast. David Harbour will be in it. I'm not sure who he's playing, but man, I love David Harbour. I just got to watch the new Hellboy, and I know a lot of people shit on it. And if I have to say anything bad about it, it is kind of a one-note movie. There's no build, there's no climax, there's no crazy fight at the end. It's kind of just the whole way through the movie. But it looked fantastic. David Harbour did a fantastic job as Hellboy. He's so good in Stranger Things. He just got this new movie on Netflix called something about Frankenstein. It's about like his father who tried to make a Frankenstein play and put it on TV, and it bombed or something. I don't know. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to because I love David Harbour. I'm pumped to see that he's going to be showing up in Black Widow. Florence Pugh? I don't know. She's going to be in it. O.T. Fagbenel and Rachel Wise. Hey, Rachel Wise. Directed by Kate Shortland, which is awesome. In theaters May 1st, 2020. So that'll be probably the first. That is the first one out of this whole batch that we're going to be getting. I'm so pumped. I'm glad she finally gets her day. And last, announced last night was, which we all had this weird, I remember hearing that this was going to happen. Blade is getting a series on the Disney streaming service, right? No. It's a movie. Is it a movie? I can't tell. It doesn't have any information right here. It's something. I have never, ever been a fan of the Blade series. I was never a fan of the Blade comic book series. I'm not a huge fan of Wesley Snipes as an actor. You know, Demolition Man was probably as far as I could go where I could tolerate him. But he is not playing Blade in the new movie, series, whatever it is. Mahershala Ali will be taking up the mantle as Blade, and that is awesome. I love that actor. I just watched Alita Battle Angel like 2 nights ago. Fantastic movie. It was so good, and he was in it, and I forgot about him. I haven't seen him in anything in a minute. He is a great actor. He has a very good like smoothness to him. He's a good villain. So it'll be cool to see him as Blade, which is not an anti-hero, but he is like a darker hero, killing vampires. I am excited to see what they do with that too, and how they're going to incorporate that into the MCU. And that's about all we got out of Hall H and Marvel last night. Some crazy stuff. To recap, we got Eternals, the Falcon Winter Soldier series, Shang-Chi, WandaVision, Loki, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, What If, Hawkeye, Thor, Love and Thunder, the Black Widow movie, and Blade. So much stuff. Awesome. Just awesome. It's good to see that Marvel isn't lost. I was a little worried about Phase 4. I was a little worried because I felt like Kevin Feige had a solid idea of this Infinity Saga, and he knew where he wanted to go. He knew the direction. He was very focused, and we've come to an end on that. So I was just really not so much worried, but I didn't know personally how they were going to handle it, what characters we were going to move forward with. This is some good stuff. I was expecting a Spider-Man 3. I was expecting a Captain Marvel 2. We didn't see either one of those. I don't really care. Captain Marvel was kind of flat for me. Spider-Man Homecoming was really flat for me. I'm sure I've heard good things about Far From Home. I will see it. Just moving forward, this is a cool. There's so much creativity going on here. There's so many things that I wanted to see happening. The Black Widow series, the Thor 4, the Shang-Chi movie. They're rounding out with all these crazy characters that you wouldn't. I mean, Shang-Chi. That's like when we heard about Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, not many people know much about that comic book series, so it's really cool to see that they're going to push that into the mainstream and in audience spaces, and I'm sure they're going to take care and do it justice that it deserves. So yeah, hey, I haven't done one of these in a while. This is fun. This is real quick. I just threw this together. I'll probably do some of these if I have time. Maybe not. If you're watching, thank you. You can always go back and watch old videos. There's so much stuff on here. You can follow me on Instagram at Suicide Moses Productions. I always am doing drawings and just weird stuff. Yeah, so I'm recording First Hits album. Check them out. Probably early fall you'll see their album. I hope that come next year, if I have this book out, you guys will all check it out for me and tell me how bad it is, or Tell me that you kind of liked it, or tell me that I spelled something wrong, because I know people love ripping on me and telling me that I spell things wrong. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.